So I was just going to have a couple of words today about the TinySA or Tiny Spectrum Analyzer, and a few words of advice, warning for anybody that might be in the market for one of these devices, because there are a large amount of fakes, clones, counterfeit devices around, and unfortunately, in this particular instance, the counterfeit device is pretty much useless for any kind of measurement, taking, etc. So having a quick look at the sort of various options available, we can see there's AliExpress. There's lots of sellers selling these devices, and there's lots to choose from. The prices are sort of around about the £30 to £40 mark, excluding VAT, because they've got the 20% VAT on now for UK. So it all seems okay. It all seems pretty good. I ended up opting for this seller here, Ali Professional Instruments and Tools Store. I can't remember why. I think they might have been £1 cheaper at the time, so at the lower end of the market. So it all looks quite good. The picture here looks quite good. My immediate thoughts were that this is a bit odd, because this picture actually is identical to the picture on the official TinySA wiki page. So they've obviously pinched the picture straight off that. But anyway, we'll have a quick look at what I'd actually received.
So this is the TinySA Spectrum Analyzer, pretty much as I received it. So the actual packaging is quite nice. It looks well presented. Opening up the box, and you're presented with something like this. The actual USB-C cable is not in there currently, and immediately there's something a little bit odd, because the writing here, it says HICH instead of HIGH, the word high. So taking this out of the box, it seems okay. Turn the unit over, and there's no serial number. So a genuine TinySA will have a serial number here, with a serial number that begins, I think, SN or SA. The AD ones are definitely counterfeit. So immediately this doesn't look very promising, as though it's a genuine device. But we'll turn it on and see what happens. I'll just I was going to peel the screen off, but I'll do it a bit later. Let's take those off. So we turn it on, and it appears to fire up, appears to work. We'll just have a quick, first thing you're supposed to do with these is actually hook a cable between these two connectors, two SMA connectors. So they supply loop cables, a couple of loop cables fitted to do that. So we'll just connect those up. Now, it's a bit tight. So at this stage, what we're supposed to do is a self-test, or actually calibration. We're supposed to calibrate first. So level cal, so we'll just calibrate. First thing you're supposed to do. Calibration complete, touchscreen to continue. Looks good so far. And one of the areas I found that these always fail is on the self-test. So any kind of counterfeit TinySA currently available will fail on the self-test. So we'll just carry out the self-test, and it's all looking quite good. And everything looks like it's passed, which is quite remarkable, because that's not what you would expect from a counterfeit device at all. So immediately it seems there's something funny going on, because we got this word HICH here, no serial number. It passes the self-test. So what's happening? What's going on? So what it looks like they're doing is, it looks like, let's have a quick check of the version of firmware. So config version. So I don't know how visible that's going to be in the thing, so it actually says version 1.1. Zoom in there. There we go. Version 1.1-66. Now, this version of firmware is not a official version of firmware at all. It's actually a fake version of firmware. And it's been patched basically so to make it pass the self-test. So rather than fix the hardware problem that causes it to fail the self-test, they've actually patched the firmware. And the reason I know this is because, we'll have a look in a minute, but 1.1.66 was never an officially released number. So this firmware is manipulated basically.
So we're back on the browser here. Here is actually a list of the official firmwares, and we can scroll down all of the release versions to date. And so when we come to sort of 1.1.66, there's quite a lot of versions here. It's 1.1. So there's nothing there. So there's no 1.16 anything. So basically 1.1-66 is not an official version of firmware. So that's basically the proof of that. I'm just going to have a quick. We'll just go back to the video now and have a quick look inside.
So I'm just going to take a look inside the unit now, see what it looks like inside. There are various pictures on the internet showing the inside of a genuine TinySA and some of the clones, fakes, counterfeit devices. So we'll just lift that off. Now this looks quite good at first glance. So there's something that's immediately obvious, is that on a genuine unit there's actually writing on the battery that actually says, I think, 650 milliamp hour. But what is good that a number of clones don't have are these metal cans. So this actually has 3 metal cans as per, and the PCB looks, certainly to my eyes, to be fairly authentic looking. But we've already sort of discovered it's not. We know it's a clone, and it's version 0.3. It's blue. It has all the markings. It looks, from this glance, apart from the battery, you'd say that's probably a genuine PCB or a genuine TinySA looking at it from this angle, which we know isn't true. But what we're going to do now is actually, I'll put the case back together and then I'll flash the firmware up to the latest official version and see how it fares with the genuine firmware. Okay, we're back again, and this time I've actually upgraded the firmware to an official version of the firmware 1.2.6.2, and I've actually pulled off the sticky plastic on there, which actually requires you take the printed circuit board out to do it, because the case actually covers up all the sides of the sticky plastic. So we'll turn the unit on again, starts up, etc., which is all good. So we go into the config version, and then I can see, let's see if I can just zoom in there. That's 1.2-62. Okay, which is an official version as downloaded from the GitHub. So now we'll try the same thing with the self-test. So self-test is running through, pass, 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 and the point at which all of these fail is test 7, and there you see it, it's actually failed. Stop band fail on test 7, which is a good indication that this is a clone. And it also means, of course, that because it will never pass this self-test, it means any measurements or readings that you take from this device, you cannot rely on it at all. So yeah, that's it, that's what it is.
So after sort of pulling it apart and checking, doing a bit of investigation around the net, I came across this page from Eric Kashuk. I'm not sure if that's how he pronounces his surname. Apologies if that's not correct. Now he is actually the owner of the project. He's actually designed this TinySA, and he owns the GitHub for it. So he should know what he's talking about. And obviously this came to my attention after I purchased and received the product, that these things existed. And basically, self-test 7 fails. That seems to be a common thing from what I've read. Serial number at the back of the unit. Well, I don't have a serial number, so I guess you can't say it's got the wrong serial number. It doesn't have any serial number. If the text next to the high input connector is HICH, which we've already seen mine is, you have a clone. Complain, get a refund. If the firmware version is version 1.1-66, you have a clone, which it was. It was that very same version. So that's obviously a hacked version of firmware to overcome the shortcomings of the hardware. So at this stage, I'm thinking, well, that's not too bad, because AliExpress have quite a few guarantees and things. You look at their sort of policies, and it says guaranteed. There's a guaranteed genuine thing here. Perhaps you can raise an issue and say, well, it's not genuine. Supply the evidence, and maybe you get somewhere. But unfortunately, it's not quite as straightforward as that, as we shall see. So what's actually happened is that I opened my dispute with the seller, and basically it went something along the lines of, I had to write this text here explaining that it's a fake product. Upon upgrading the official version, I gave these pictures with circles around them showing where it failed, no serial number on the back, and of course the misspelling of the high. So that's all. And the fact, I also pointed out that this was highlighted by Eric as well. So the seller's response immediately: dear buyer and friends and members of the dispute team, hello, our products are not fakes. The relevant qualification certificates have been reviewed by AliExpress platform when the products are on the shelves. Well, clearly that's not the case, or AliExpress are just being duped, one of the two. But the products have complete instructions. They didn't have any instructions, so what he's done is basically point me to the wiki page, which I don't really need to know. It's not that that there's a problem with my understanding of how the unit works. It's a problem with the unit itself. That means it fails the self-test. And he gave me this page of obviously like a standard type waffle, including the TinySA is not an SDR receiver. So, I didn't say anything about that at all. But yeah, so basically I just kept saying no to any kind of solutions. There was AliExpress came out and said there's a proposed new solution, and they said they offered me £8.33 out of £41. Well, I kind of refused this because that wasn't really, my intention was to get a full refund because the device is pretty much next to useless. I'm not too bothered per se about losing £40 or £30 or whatever. But so this video really is just to warn other people of this is what they can expect really if they order from the non-approved outlets, which we'll come to at the end. So I've supplied this video evidence, and I'll basically play the video evidence now so you can see it.
Okay, I'm just doing a quick video of this TinySA, which has turned out to be a fake or clone TinySA. It's not an original product. There's a couple of immediately obvious things where you've got the high and low. The top line where it says high has got HICH. That is one of the giveaways that this is a clone or fake device. If I turn it over, there's nothing on the back. There should be a serial number, sticker, model number sticker, nothing. I shall now turn the unit on. like that. It appears to be working. However, if I go into the self-test, we will notice it does what every clone or fake device does. It will fail on test 7. There we go, and there is the failure on test 7, because they haven't cloned the bandpass filtering correctly, basically. Now, if we look, this was actually purchased from AliExpress, and this is their wiki page, the TinySA wiki page. So this is actually a genuine picture here, and we can see the word hi, H-I-G-H, not H-I-C-H, is correct. Now if I actually look on the page itself, where this is the actual seller on AliExpress, Ali Professional Instruments and Tools store, and this picture here is exactly the same as the TinySA picture. So that's a picture of the original device, a genuine device. And if I scroll this down to the actual pictures, we can see quite clearly that it says hi, and not the direct comparison side by side. Quite clearly, the top one says hi and the bottom one says H-I-C-H. So there's obviously, it's obviously a fake device. And all these pictures are actually pictures of the genuine device. They're not pictures of the device I've got at all.
So that was the first video evidence, and the second video evidence I sent was this one.
Whilst just looking through these, I see actually there's a page here from a message board from that actually has Eric Kasuk. I don't know if that's how he pronounces his name, but here's the easy ways of telling if you've got a clone device. Self-test 7 fails, may have a clone. Serial number on the back, well, I don't have a serial number on the back, I don't have any number on the back. And it says, if the text next to the high input connection is HICH, you have a clone. And this is from the project owner. So he is actually confirmed what I have already stated, that this is actually a clone or fake device.
So, okay, we've established it's well and truly a fake device. But of course, AliExpress take a little more convincing, because they just basically don't believe it's a fake device. So I've already stated my case there, provided the evidence. The seller has actually said our products are not faked. The relevant qualification, blah, 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 what you've seen earlier. And AliExpress, well, the seller's actually said here there's not enough evidence to prove that the product is a fake. Well, I would say that there's all the evidence is there that it's a fake. It doesn't pass the self-test, so it's clearly something very wrong with it. We see in the video that the product is working properly. Well, failing the self-test is not working properly. If that applies to everything they sell, then I think that everything they sell must be a bit questionable, really, to be honest. So basically, so again, I'm just basically saying it's a fake product. And there's all of the reasons for it to be a fake product. So in the end of all that, AliExpress had just judged that they're going to give me £8 refund. So the AliExpress judgment details: model not as described, valid. Well, yeah, it's definitely not, because what you see in the pictures and what is described is a genuine TinySA. It's not the counterfeit device. You won't see the pictures of the clone counterfeit device in their listing at all. Counterfeit goods, invalid. This is AliExpress's judgment. The evidence you provided was not valid for your dispute case. video is needed for this complaint, but does not work properly. Well, you know, I supplied all that, so they've basically just ignored the evidence. It's exactly what's happened. So the thing is, I'm not too bothered about the outcome really, but I think it's useful for other people to be aware of where they stand if they actually do order one of these devices via AliExpress. What I would say is that there is, if you look on here, this is an important page to note, the actual TinySA wiki page. There's a section on buying a TinySA and where you should buy the genuine ones. Funny enough, the seller that I bought from AliExpress is not on this list, but I think they soon will be, because I shall be reporting them for certain. I mean, if you said in the UK, if you go through Murfield Electronics, where it's crossed out there, you can expect to pay around about sort of £70 or £80 for the genuine thing, and you've got some kind of comeback, of course, as well. If you find out it's a fake or you have problems with it, you have some kind of backup there. And unfortunately, I mean, the one place on AliExpress that is recommended is the Zenco store, which is this one here. Now, as we can see, the price is not so dissimilar from, if I compare it actually to the store I bought from. The store I bought from, AliExpress, with Professional Instruments and Tools store, are selling the clone device, and this Zenco here, Zenco store, is selling a genuine device for not much more money. So it's not as though you're getting the cloned fake product at a bargain knockdown price at all. Bearing in mind you're ending up with something that's pretty much useless compared to the genuine product. A genuine product will pass all of the self-tests. So yeah, looking at this listing, there's one of the things that's quite reassuring about this listing is that this little line here, thanks for your trust and support on Eric. So that's obviously Eric, the designer. And Hugin is the factory that makes these. They're actually licensed to make these, the only factory that's licensed to make these. So they make original TinySAs, whereas the others are made from, are made in who knows where. And again, this is the actual genuine product. So if you want to order via AliExpress, this currently is the place to go to, Zenco store. And it's probably the best priced option if you wanted to order from China. But if you do get a problem with it, well, you know what you're going to get. And that's it really. So hopefully this little video has probably warned a few people off from buying from non-authorized outlets, because you're not going to save much money and you're going to end up with something that's pretty much useless.